10 airplanes big enough to carry your house. Flight wonder is never ceaseless, even since the flights are longer than the Olympic swimming pools, heavier than the world's largest tanks, and bigger than 5-story towers. The spectacle is very far unbelievable. Here are today's most monstrous aircraft. Antonov AN225 Maria. The Antonov AN225 is the world's largest plane by certain measures. Just one of these massive freight planes was designed by the Antonov Design Bureau in the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. Antonov planned it to transport the Buran spaceplane, the Soviet equivalent of the space shuttle, as well as Energia rocket boosters, but after the Soviet space program collapsed, the plane soon found other airlifting jobs. With a gross takeoff weight of 710 tons, the AN225 is the heaviest aircraft ever constructed. With a cumulative payload of 559,580 pounds and a single-item payload of 418,830 pounds, it holds the record for total airlifted payload. It has the 290-foot wingspan of any plane currently in the air, as well as 6 cylinders. The hulking aircraft entered the worldwide war against COVID-19 in 2020 when it took to the sky to provide supplies to countries around the world with limited funding due to the pandemic. Aerospace SuperGuppy. The air traffic controls were so dubious that the aircraft would ever get out of the ground that the police and fire branches were warned of alertness. But they were proven incorrect by the SuperGuppy. This brilliant silver beast, now known as the pregnant guppy, appears like an airship rather than an airplane. It is the symbol of the go large or go home architecture ideology. This Frankenplane will still carry monstrous cargo today, although it is 50, even exceeding the C5 Galaxy by volume. On the way through this cavernous cargo area, the guppy will be an essential part of mankind's moon voyage. While a guppy is prey, the SuperGuppy is a hunter. Except for NASA, every agency in the world has retired the bloated aircraft. The guppy's large dimensions are ideal for carrying satellites and rocket parts, according to the U.S. Space Agency. The first SuperGuppy was built from the fuselage of a Boeing C-97 Stratofreighter, which flew for the first time in 1965. The Airbus Beluga has effectively substituted the turboprop cargo plane for massive and oddly shaped cargo transport, but the SuperGuppy can continue to perplex people in the sky as long as NASA has a need for it, and NASA loves the SuperGuppy. Lockheed C5 Galaxy. The C5 Galaxy is the largest aircraft regularly flown by the U.S. military with a cargo capacity of nearly 135 tons. In May 2017, the Air Force announced that the monster airliner will be reactivated. The aircraft took off for Vietnam almost immediately. The C5 became invaluable for the war effort as it was able to carry about 98% of the Army range. In any global war, it has ever funded U.S. military operations. In 1994, it supplied aid for war-torn Rwanda and supported the peacekeeping mission headed by the British in Zimbabwe in 1979. 2 M1 Abrams tanks, 16 Humvees, 3 Blackhawks, or a variety of other vehicles can be transported in the C5. The C5 can fly up to 7,000 miles or refuel without passengers, making it the world's longest-range military airlifter. The C5 is used by the Air Force because it has to transport a large amount of cargo easily. Boeing 747 Dreamlifter. Boeing wanted a passenger plane with a lot of room in the 2000s to ship components for the 787 Dreamliner, which has parts manufactured all over the world. The solution was to install a custom cargo hold around the company's largest jet, the 747. The Boeing 747 Dreamlifter is one of the longest and most strikingly striking cargo aircraft in the world. It is also one of the rare freight planes in the world today, with just 4 of its kind completed. This gigantic plane was planned by Boeing to deliver its Dreamliner 787 parts from worldwide manufacturers to its American factories. The Dreamlifter has the world's biggest cargo hold, measuring 65,000 cubic feet and capable of handling 3 times the capacity of a 747-400F freighter. Boeing's 4 Dreamlifters also feature the world's longest freight loader, which can transport payloads of up to 125 tons. Antonov AN225 Ruslan. The Antonov Architecture Bureau has produced yet another monstrosity. The Russian Air Force operates the world's largest military aircraft, the AN225 Ruslan. Apart from the single AN225, the AN124 NATO reporting name Condor was the world's biggest and heaviest cargo aircraft for almost 30 years since its launch in 1984. In 2011, the 747-8F surpassed the AN124. The AN124 will haul even more than the C5 Galaxy with a recorded payload capability of 165 tons, but its range isn't as long. The AN124 is a Soviet engineering victory that continues to fly airlifting missions for Russia. Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. The B-52 was first put into operation in 1955, and the first B-52H, the new model, was introduced in 1961. The B-52 bomber is the Air Force's patriarch, aging but still capable of delivering a devastating blow. From precision-guided conventional bombs to nuclear warheads, the BUFF will hold 70,000 pounds of weapons. While the B-2 stealth bomber and B-1 supersonic bomber could be retired as the B-21 is launched, the Air Force needs to upgrade the B-52's reliable engines to increase performance and range. As the B-52 approaches its sixth decade of operation, the technology within its hold continues to advance, with the Air Force preparing to arm the bomber with a long-range standoff missile, a stealthy strategic cruise missile. Airbus Beluga XL. Beluga, take a back seat. In town, there's an even bigger whale. The Beluga XL was developed in 2014 and made its first practical flight in 2020 after more than 200 test flights. It has now joined Airbus's already massive fleet in transporting accredited big things around the globe. The aircraft is enormous. It's 206 feet tall and has the world's highest freight plane cross-section. The hulking plane is held aloft by two Rolls-Royce Trent 700 turbofan engines. It has a ledger wing up on the A300-600 Super Transporter before it. The Beluga XL will transport not one but two of the A350XWB's huge wings. The Beluga of the first generation will only bear one. Boeing 747. The Dreamlifter is still on the record, but it just scratches the surface of the Queen of the Skies achievements. Boeing has produced over 1,500 Boeing 747s, which have operated as the world's largest passenger and cargo aircraft, a military command center in the atmosphere Air Force One, as well as a space shuttle lifter and infrared telescope flyer for NASA. In addition, Iran Maiden has one named Ed Force One. Airlines are phasing out the aircraft in favor of single-aisle versions that will now fly far enough to cross oceans. The Boeing 747, being the only four-engine jumbo jet mass-produced in the United States, has a long life ahead of it. McDonnell Douglas KC-10 Extender. The McDonnell Douglas KC-10 Extender is the world's largest fuel tanker aircraft. The aircraft will carry a huge volume of fuel, 52,250 gallons, due to its 164-foot wingspan. The Air Force is purchasing a new tanker, the Boeing KC-46 Pegasus, which will be more powerful and have more sophisticated avionics than the KC-10, but the tri-jet extender will still have a fuel power advantage of around 70 tons over the Pegasus. The KC-10 has three main wing tanks for jet fuel, as well as huge fuel tanks under the cargo base. It can be flown with a crew of 75 people and 73 tons of freight, or with an all-cargo configuration of 85 tons of cargo. Tupolev Tu-160 Blackjack. The Tupolev Tu-160 is the world's largest and heaviest supersonic and military aircraft. The aircraft is also the largest variable geometry swing-wing aircraft in the world. The Tu-160 has a wingspan of 183 feet and a maximum takeoff weight of 606,271 pounds. Only 36 planes were ever made. The Tu-160, a Soviet-designed aircraft, first flew in 1981 and went on to set 44 world records. It was the last bomber that the Soviet Union ever made. However, the Tu-160, also known as the White Swan, is making a comeback. Russia resurrected the monster plane in 2015, resuming manufacturing. In January 2018, the newly redesigned Tu-160R flew for the first time. Thanks for watching. For more updates, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Here are 2 other videos for you to watch.